Hello to all of you viewers of The Pioneer. The destructive face of war is manifested not only in frontline clashes, but also in attacks on strategic targets. The Ukrainian army is dealing heavy blows to Russia's critical infrastructures with successful attacks organized by drones. Especially the energy sector has become one of the most important targets of these attacks. Recent developments have deeply shaken Russia's energy sector, forcing the Moscow administration to make tough decisions. As a result of the increasing attacks, the Kremlin decided to close four major oil refineries. So, what are the reasons behind this radical step? How do Ukraine's drone attacks affect the Russian energy system? These developments make it clear that the war is being fought not only on the military front, but also on the economic and strategic level. Russia's oil refineries are critical for both military logistics and the civilian economy. While oil production and refining capacity are of great importance in terms of financing the war, Ukraine's effective attacks put the Russian energy infrastructure under great pressure. Ukraine's unmanned aerial vehicles successfully hit their targets by taking advantage of defense gaps in Russian airspace. Russia's air defense systems are insufficient to prevent such attacks, and this situation pushes the Kremlin to make important decisions. Attacks on Russian refineries, especially in recent weeks, have severely disrupted oil production in the country. Although Moscow is trying to take additional security measures to protect its energy infrastructure, Ukraine's continuous development of drone technology and the increasing sophistication of its attacks are testing Russia's defense capabilities. So, how will the Russian government respond to these attacks? What steps does the Kremlin plan to take to protect its energy infrastructure? What will be the long-term effects of Ukraine's attacks on the Russian economy? How will the closure of oil refineries change the Russian economy and the overall course of the war? We'll analyze the answers to these critical questions in the light of the latest developments of the war. Russia's descent into an energy crisis could have a significant impact not only on the economy, but also on the overall dynamics of the war. The vulnerability of Russia's energy sector brings about new scenarios for the progress of the war. So, what will be the Kremlin's reaction to these developments? Let's analyze all these critical developments together. Before we get to our report, though, a quick reminder. The Pioneer team is definitely real. None of my team members or me are artificial intelligence. Even though AI is very advanced, it's still not as good as us. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our daily reports and explanations. We do read all the comments you leave on our videos, so please continue to share your ideas about our content. Tell us in the comments what content you'd like to see on the Pioneer channel. And now let us begin if you're ready. The Pioneer reports. Ukraine's drone attacks continue to wreak havoc on Russia's energy infrastructure. These attacks, which have been increasing in recent months, not only weaken Moscow's war economy, but also seriously undermine the country's overall economic balance. As a result of the attacks on Russia's oil refineries, four major refineries have been forced to shut down temporarily or completely. While this situation is a direct blow to Russia's ability to finance the war effort, the crisis in the energy sector also threatens Moscow's position on the international market. Ukraine has been targeting Russia's strategic energy infrastructure since the beginning of the war, aiming to disrupt the Kremlin's sources of income. By 2024, increased unmanned aerial vehicle (UAV) attacks had reduced Russia's daily crude oil production to its lowest level in 2 decades. The impact of these attacks is not only in terms of financing the war, but also in terms of Russia's export revenues and energy supply security. The oil and gas sector has long been one of the pillars of the Russian economy, and large-scale disruptions in this area directly threaten Russia's economic stability. In particular, a major attack on February the 19th completely disabled the Syzran refinery, one of Russia's leading oil refineries. This facility, operated by the state-owned energy company Rosneft, was hit by a Ukrainian drone, which caused a massive fire and completely shut down its operations. The Syzran refinery, with an annual processing capacity of 8.9 million tons of oil, is of strategic importance despite being a medium-sized facility. The closure of this refinery not only affected regional energy supply, but also disrupted Russia's military fuel supply chain. In addition to the Syzran refinery, another critical facility in the Samara region was also affected by Ukrainian attacks. Targeted repeatedly throughout 2024, this refinery is located about 700 kilometers from the Russia-Ukraine border. With the increase in Ukraine's long-range drone capability, the production capacity of this facility has significantly decreased, causing major disruptions in energy supply in the region. In the aftermath of the attack, the plant's production levels dropped drastically, while maintenance and repair processes slowed down due to Western sanctions. At the end of January, the Ryazan refinery, one of Russia's largest oil processing facilities, was severely damaged by Ukrainian drone strikes. Following this attack, a major fire broke out in the oil storage areas and the refinery was forced to shut down its operations completely. According to industry sources, railway loading equipment at the Ryazan plant was also severely damaged, making oil shipments impossible. The closure of this plant, which accounts for about 5% of Russia's total refining capacity, has led to a serious bottleneck in the country's energy production and exports. Russian sources report that the Ryazan refinery produced 2.2 million tons of gasoline, 3.4 million tons of diesel, 4.3 million tons of fuel oil, and 1 million tons of jet fuel per year. Since Russia's ability to sustain its war effort is heavily dependent on oil revenues, the successive refinery closures represent a severe blow to the Kremlin. This destruction of the energy infrastructure has serious consequences not only for the civilian economy, but also for military logistics. The decline in Russia's oil production could also weaken supply chains on the battlefield and negatively affect the operational capacity of the military. Since the beginning of the war, Ukraine has been aiming to corner Russia economically by attacking its energy infrastructure. The Kyiv administration believes that attacks, especially on oil refineries and energy facilities, are one of the most effective ways to limit Russia's war financing capacity. The head of the Ukrainian Center for Countering Disinformation, Andriy Kovalenko, said in a statement that these attacks have not only economic but also military effects. The reduction of Russia's refueling capacity could also reduce the tempo of military operations on the battlefield, Kovalenko said. What do you think? Can Russia take new measures to prevent these attacks on its energy infrastructure? How long will it take to repair the damaged refineries? How will Ukraine's strategy affect Russia's ability to act on the battlefield? Let us know in the comments. We read and care about your points of view.